What if this is the moment money stops being a chase and starts being a certainty? What if, from now on, every time you think of income, invoices, new clients, unexpected deposits, your whole being answers with two effortless words? Of course, and the world obeys. Most people argue with their good. They rehearse lack. They ask, can I afford it? Will it come? What if it does? But not you, not now, because tonight you install a new identity and identities collect. You are not here to wish, you are here to command. You are here to let one picture, one phrase set law in motion until money reports to you daily like sunrise. Before we begin, hit like and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. It strengthens this field to see abundance circling the globe. And if you're ready to make wealth your normal rhythm, subscribe now so this teaching keeps tuning your mind day after day. Here is the promise. Say of course as the self who has, and you will collect as the self who has. The mind produces what it pictures and confirms what the tongue seals. This is not guesswork. This is law. Picture is cause, word is seal, identity is magnet, circulation is multiplication, praise is the current running through it all. We will anchor all of it inside you simply, clearly, until money takes the path of least resistance, which is you. Close your eyes for a breath. See your bank app glow, not as a wish, as a fact. See a number that makes your shoulders drop and your lungs open. See a notification, deposit received, another, paid in full, another, transfer completed. Let your thumb hover over the screen in your mind and feel that little tremor of joy. Now hear your voice, not loud, not forced, just true. Of course it came. Of course it comes again tomorrow. Of course it multiplies. You are not pleading, you are recognizing. The law responds to recognition. When worry tries to rehearse its tired lines, you will not debate it, you will not analyze it, you will substitute it. Substitution is mastery. Replace the picture, replace the word, replace the identity. The instant fear says, what if it fails? You answer, of course I am paid. Of course money prefers me. Of course my work is in demand. Of course my accounts receive daily. You feel the shift because the mind cannot hold two contradictory pictures at once. You have chosen the cause. Listen to the quiet rules that govern prosperity. The mind mirrors its dominant image. The word furnishes the mold. The heart gives thanks and sets the circuit to flowing. Spend as a saint, not a survivor. Give as a sower, not a victim. Every dollar that leaves you under praise returns multiplied. If your hand trembles, steady it with identity. Of course it returns. Of course it brings friends. Of course I am the one money loves to circle through. You are not losing, you are circulating. Circulation is breath, in and out and in. The lungs do not grieve the exhale because the inhale is law. Now bring the scene closer. See tomorrow's morning light on your table. Tea or coffee steaming, your phone face up. You open your messages and there it is, the yes you wanted, the sale you assumed, the referral you expected. Do not squeal, smile with knowing, whisper of course. You have to teach your nervous system that abundance is ordinary in your world. Treat it as natural and it will behave as natural. The extraordinary becomes daily when you stop acting surprised. Identity first, results follow. You do not perform your way into millionaire consciousness, you remember it, you accept it, you embody it in word and picture until your actions become simple, precise, and peace-filled. Money is a thermometer, it reads your assumption. If you assume delay, it delays. If you assume speed, it hastens. If you assume daily, it arranges itself to greet you every day. So claim your rhythm now. Of course I receive daily. Of course I give daily. Of course I praise daily. Wealth loves cadence. Cadence creates compound. Let's mark the seal, touch the center of your chest and breathe. See a single door with your name on it. On the plaque engraved are the words paid daily. You do not knock, you do not wait. You turn the handle because it is your door. Inside is a desk stacked with confirmations, invoices stamped paid, messages reading delivered, gratitude, thank you, another order. With every page you touch, speak softly, of course. Feel how the words settle the space. The room answers you. You have entered the authority of being. This authority is clean. It is calm. It is not frantic. Frantic signals lack. Calm signals possession. You will train calm by training picture and word. When you open a bill, do not flinch. Smile. Bless the sender. Say, of course this is handled. Of course supply precedes demand in my world. Then circulate with praise. Pay with joy as if you were returning a friend to the river. Money is never stuck with you, it flows through you and returns. If a thought argues, substitute. If an emotion rises, breathe and substitute again. Repetition writes the pattern. Law rewards the pattern. I want you to remember a moment in your past when money came unexpectedly. Hold it. Where were you? What were you wearing? How did the air feel? Notice how life arranged itself without your strain. Now make a decision. That experience was not an accident, it was a preview. Stamp it with a new conclusion. Of course this is my baseline, not my once in a while. Of course the law knows my name. Bring that memory forward into today, fuse it to your current picture. You are not trying to become, you are remembering how your world behaves when you let it. From this moment, your language tightens. Loose words leak power. Precise words seal power. You will not say, I hope, I wish, I'll try. You will say, of course, I am, it is done. You will not describe lack for the sake of conversation. You will describe abundance for the sake of creation. Praise is not fluff. Praise is the current that keeps the channel open. Thank you precedes the evidence because thank you is evidence in seed form. Every thank you is a deposit slip. Listen to me, there is no contest for your good. There is no competition for your supply, there is only resonance. What you are, you attract. What you picture, you invite. What you speak, you seal. What you praise, you multiply. You are moving from asking to assuming, from striving to receiving, from hoping to collecting. You are crossing the line now. The 2 words are your password, of course. Before we close this first step, align your posture. Sit as the one who is paid daily, shoulders easy, jaw soft, breath even. Put a light smile on your face, not for show, but because recognition has weight. Whisper, of course I collect today, of course I collect tomorrow. Of course I collect all week. Notice how the mind reaches for proof. Give it proof. Recall one small receipt, one tip, one refund, one discount, one door opened recently. Count it as circulation returning. Tell your mind, see, of course. Then lift your gaze to bigger figures, bigger flows, and treat them with the same quiet respect. They are not special, they are natural in your field. The journey has begun. You have planted the cause and touched the seal. In the minutes ahead, we will refine the picture until it glows, anchor the word until it cannot be moved, and train your hand to circulate with praise so returns become rhythmic, expected, and generous. For now, keep the phrase on your tongue and the picture in your chest. When the world knocks, you answer from identity, of course, and you collect. Now we sharpen the picture until it behaves. Pick one simple daily proof your mind can't argue with: a sale, a tip, a refund, a transfer. See it arrive before noon. See the clock on your stove. 11:38. Feel the soft click of certainty in your chest. Your phone lights up. The number is not random, it is perfect. It belongs to you because you belong to abundance. Your breath stays even. Your shoulders stay easy. You answer in your ordinary tone, the tone of someone who recognizes their own name, of course. You are not trying to force emotion, you are training recognition. Law answers recognition. In the morning, before the world reaches for you, you reach within, eyes still soft, hand on your chest. The door with your name, paid daily, is already open. Walk through in imagination. The room greets you the way a faithful friend greets you. On the desk, today's confirmation sits on top before you even sit down. See the subject line. Paid, cleared, received. Feel the dry paper under your fingers or the smooth glass of the phone. Whisper, of course, that whisper is a seal. It is not the size of the voice that seals the law, it is the authority of identity behind it. Now turn to substitution. You know the old script, it creeps in at the edges. What if it slows? What if the client delays? What if the launch misses? Do not wrestle, replace. See a long hallway lined with doors. Each door has a sentence on it. The old sentences are gray, they look heavy. Walk past them. Stop only at the bright door with the gold plaque. Of course I am paid today. Turn the handle. Enter. The atmosphere is different. Airy, clean. In here, options sparkle. People reply quickly. The calendar fills with ease. Let the old hallway fade. You do not fix gray doors, you leave them. Substitution is leaving one room for another and shutting the door behind you. Practice circulation as naturally as you practice breathing. When you pay, you bless. When you give, you expect. Not from the person. Never burden a person with being your source, but from law, which always balances itself in your favor when you praise. See every dollar you send wearing a small tag with your name and a simple instruction, return multiplied. See them disappear into the river smiling. You do not chase, you wave. Later, see them returning as a fleet, some bigger. Some with friends, some with opportunities instead of cash, but you know the conversion rate is generous. You greet them all with the same smile. Of course, circulation is multiplication under praise. Raise your inner standard of evidence. The mind asks for proof. Give it daily proofs that fit your world. A full booking calendar, a sold-out product, an affiliate payout, a royalty statement, a client paying early because they love your work. C1, C3, C10. But see them with the same steadiness. The extraordinary becomes ordinary because you decide it is your baseline. You stop spiking your nervous system with surprise and start training it with calm gratitude. Thank you is your breath on the mirror confirming that you are present. Thank you is not begging. Thank you is ownership expressed. Identity leads. The millionaire consciousness in you is sober, generous, precise. It does not make noise for validation. It makes decisions for flow. So today you decide one small thing in alignment with that self. You raise a price to meet the value you already deliver. You send an invoice on time, not as a hope, but as a courtesy. You follow up once with clarity, then you release and let the law do what it does. And when the thought tries to rehearse rejection, you replace the rehearsal with a premiere, the message that reads, absolutely, let's proceed. Watch your posture as you read it, watch your face. The quiet smile is part of the code. Return to the body keeps score, train it. Hear a gentle chime each time money moves in your favor. You can use a real sound or an imagined one soft tone. It rings when you remember a past win. It rings when you notice a new email. It rings when you approve a payment going out under praise. That sound becomes a bell of recognition. It tells your nervous system this is normal, this is now, this is me. The more you pair the chime with calm gratitude, the more your body becomes a landing strip for daily receipt. Now speak in the places you used to swallow your voice, not to argue with anyone but to agree with law. When you step into a store and tap your card, do it with a blessing. Of course, this is easily covered and returns multiplied. When you look at your services or products, name the outcomes simply. Of course they sell out. Of course they help. Of course they are shared by those who value quality. When a potential partner crosses your mind, say their name with favor and finish with of course we align. The tongue is a pen. You are signing contracts with your own future. I want you to build a narrow, vivid picture of your daily collecting time. Choose an hour in your mind when the world tends to bring you credit. Maybe late morning. Maybe early afternoon. Fix it. See the sunlight at that angle. See where you are, at your desk, in your car, on a walk. The phone vibrates. You don't snatch it. You finish your sip of water. You check. There it is. The amount is exact. Not because you squeezed it into existence, but because you accepted that law knows timing when you hold identity steady. Say it again without drama. Of course. This quiet ritual tells the subconscious we collect daily and we do it with grace. At night, count the returns without greed and the outflows without grief. Count them like a farmer counts seeds and harvest with the same gratitude. You are not measuring to see if you are safe. You are witnessing the rhythm you chose. If something seems slow, you do not panic. You magnify praise and sharpen picture. You ask, what is the simplest next expression of my identity? You do that. You do not wait for mood. The law is not mood. The law is law. Replace the drama of urgency with the dignity of inevitability. Urgency belongs to the old self who chased. Inevitability belongs to the self who commands. When your mind whispers, hurry, you're behind, you answer, of course I am right on rhythm. When it hisses, they won't pay, you answer, of course those assigned to me recognize me. When it moans, it's been too long, you answer, of course the backlog clears in a flood. You are not debating probabilities, you are selecting realities. Selection is your privilege. Now imagine a conversation with someone you love who still runs on lack. They list reasons, they count obstacles, they point to headlines. You don't argue, you embody. Your calm makes a sound they can hear beneath your words. You say quietly, watch my life. Then you leave them with a blessing and you go do your simple next act. Send the proposal, post the offer, return the call, deliver the value, praise the process. Results follow identity doing what identity does. Mark your day with small, sacred cues. A glass of water you drink while saying, of course. A doorway you pass through and touch the frame as if it were your paid daily plaque. A walk where you count steps as incoming credits. These cues turn your environment into a partner. They keep your mind from wandering into the briar patch of doubt. They remind you, gently and often, that wealth loves cadence and you have chosen a beautiful one. Finally, rehearse one scene so often it becomes muscle memory. You waking, you stepping into your day, you receiving, you circulating, you praising, you sleeping. The loop is simple. The loop is powerful. The loop compounds. Every loop deepens the groove in your mind until even when you forget to remember, your world remembers for you. Breathe. Smile, let the words sit on your tongue again. Of course I receive daily. Of course I give daily. Of course I bless and am blessed. You are not performing, you are recognizing. And recognition repeated becomes reality. Tomorrow we will engrave the picture deeper and expand your channels so the law has more doors to use. For now, keep walking through your door and keep sealing with your word, of course, and watch what reports. Now we expand your channels so the law has more doors to use. Identity designs doors. The self who is paid daily does not wait on one gate, you let many open. In imagination first, then in action. See a hallway with multiple bright doors, each with a name. Sales, consulting, royalties, interest, tips, affiliate, gifts. Refunds, surprises, not fantasy, function, walk past and touch each plaque. As you touch, speak, of course. Feel the latch give under your hand, the door swings and a breeze of confirmation meets your face. Your mind believes what you rehearse. You are rehearsing access. Bring one door into the world today, a simple link added to your offer, a clear way for people to pay you without friction, a page that explains your value without apology. A message sent to someone who already benefits from you, inviting them to formalize that benefit. Your work is worthy of structure. Structure is not strain. Structure is permission for money to find you predictably. While you build, keep the picture clean. See the new door in the hallway glowing. See people walking through it with relief because clarity serves them too. Whisper, of course, and seal it. Your spoken word is a lever. Use it at the exact points where money touches you. When you send an invoice, say, of course this clears today. When you deliver value, say, of course they are delighted and eager to pay. When you open your account, say, of course numbers rise swiftly and steadily. You are not pleading with the air, you are stamping the mold at the moment of contact. Law likes precision. Loose speech smears the image, tight speech sharpens it. Speak the smallest phrase that carries the largest certainty. Of course is that phrase. Refine substitution until it is instant. Build a 3-breath switch. First breath, picture the paid daily plaque on your door. Second breath, feel the soft weight of your phone and the vibration that means incoming. Third breath, say of course and let your shoulders drop. That is the entire tool. Use it in line at the store. Use it before a meeting. Use it when an email takes longer than your old nerves preferred. You are not begging for speed, you are inhabiting speed. Your nervous system learns by repetition. Repetition writes inevitability. Circulation gets bolder now. You send money like a farmer scatters seed with praise and intention. You do not throw randomly, you aim generously. You choose a cause or a person that mirrors your values and you support with joy, not to buy virtue. To keep the river wide, each time you give, assign your seed a direction with a smile, return multiplied, then forget it. Forgetting is not neglect, it is trust. Trust lets law gather a harvest without you hovering. Your praise is the sunlight. Your calm is the soil, order is wealth's welcome mat. Clean one money corner today, clear your wallet of crumpled bills and tired receipts. Smooth the bills, bless them. Thank you for circulating, return multiplied with friends. Rename one account so it reports identity every time you see it. Paid daily, overflow, peace reserves, names instruct the subconscious instructs behavior, behavior invites results. You are teaching every part of you to match your decree. Stop the compulsion to check 1,000 times a day. Choose your rhythm, morning review, noon acknowledgement, evening praise, in between you live, you create, you serve, you move your body. You touch the door frame and say, of course, this is not avoidance, it is authority. A king does not stand at the gate wringing hands, a queen does not pace the courtyard guessing. You have set your audience with money to scheduled times and money respects order. Make one offer simpler and stronger. The world pays for clarity that solves. Do not decorate with jargon. Speak to the benefit like you speak to law. Clean, direct, assured, here is what I do, here is the result, here is how to pay. Of course, when someone asks your price, you do not flinch or fast talk. You breathe and answer calmly, then seal, of course we proceed. If they are not yours, you do not chase. Chasing breaks the posture, release with blessing. The ones assigned to you recognize you, of course they do, let time obey you, you have already chosen an hour when money tends to greet you. Strengthen that groove, a few minutes before your hour you pause, you feel the chime in your chest, you remember the last yes, you pre-thank the next yes, not as a trick, as alignment, the clock strikes, you continue your work. The phone vibrates, you look, there it is, of course, this is not superstition. This is cadence training time to serve identity, handle delays with dignity, a payment lingers, a transfer hiccups, the old self spirals, you do not. You answer with 2 moves, you reinforce the picture, the paid stamp landing with a thud you can almost hear. You speak the seal, of course this resolves in my favor today, then you take the simplest aligned action. A gracious reminder, a clear resend, a direct request. Then you go back to life, you do not beg, you do not gossip lack, you do not poison the channel with complaint. Praise keeps the pipe clean. Thank you that this clears. Thank you that order rules here. Thank you that law is law. Count returns you once dismissed. You find a forgotten credit. You get a discount at checkout. A stranger buys your coffee. A tool you needed is gifted. You receive a refund faster than expected. Do not shrug. Nod and say, of course, treat small as proof of large. The mind looks for patterns. Give it patterns of favor until it stops bracing for loss and starts expecting gain. Expectation is a magnet. Let your body memorize wealth as calm. Choose a scent and tie it to receiving, perhaps citrus, perhaps cedar. Each time you imagine or witness money arrive, inhale that scent. The senses are doors into state. Tie the state to scent, to sound, to posture, to a small smile. Soon the scent calls the state and the state calls the event. You are wiring inevitability. Build a nightly ledger of praise, 3 lines minimum. Today I received, today I circulated, today I praised, write exacts. A number, a name, a moment. Then finish with 1 line of identity. Of course I am the one money loves to circle through. Close the book. Sleep like a person under covenant. Sleep is a builder. It lays bricks for the house your waking mind designed. You will wake into the rooms you draft at night. Design 1 small expansion each week. Add a door, a product variation. A payment plan that honors both you and your clients. A subscription that creates rhythm. A collaboration that opens a lane you weren't using. Do not explode into chaos. Expand with elegance. One door at a time, well made, well named, well sealed. Of course. Speak favor over those who pay you and those you pay. Bless your clients by name. Bless your vendors. Bless your bank. Bless your platforms. You are not flattering systems. You are tuning them. You are telling the field how to behave around you. Fields listen to steady voices. Let yours be steady. Of course, thank you, paid daily, return multiplied. The universe is simple with the simple. Keep your joy sober and your gratitude bright. You are not throwing fireworks each time. You are lighting a candle and smiling. The candle says, "This is home." Money loves homes that are peaceful, orderly, and grateful. You are that home now. You have made room by releasing drama. You have invited visits by speaking welcome. And you have given money a mission by circulating it with praise. Breathe. Place your hand on your chest. Feel the door, paid daily. Turn the knob in imagination and walk in again. Touch the confirmations, hear the chime, smell your chosen scent. Say the seal. Of course, you are not waiting to become this. You are proving it by rhythm, and rhythm is compounding as we speak. Good. Now widen the rhythm without losing the calm. You trained for one confirmation a day. Let the pattern multiply. Picture your hour arriving, and instead of one vibration, feel two, then three, spaced like steady footsteps. Your breath stays even, your shoulders stay easy. You read each message with the same quiet smile. Paid, cleared, received. You do not spike, you recognize. Of course, of course, of course. This is not greed, this is cadence. Law scales the pattern you hold without strain. Normalize larger figures with the same posture. See 100 arrive, then 1,000, then 10,000. Watch how your body tries to assign special to the larger number. Refuse the drama, breathe your 3-breath switch. First breath, see the paid daily plaque on your door. Second breath, feel the weight of your phone and the soft vibration. Third breath, say of course and let your face soften. Teach your nervous system that only the old self was startled. The new self recognizes its own handwriting on the deposit slip. Set your week like a farmer sets fields. Choose a morning, perhaps Sunday or Monday, when you preview receipts. In imagination, open your calendar and mark small green dots on each day where inflow meets you, not fantasy, appointment. Some dots are tiny, a tip. A payout, some dots are bold, a contract, a licensing fee, a retainer. As you place each dot, you say thank you. Of course, this is your pre-acknowledgement. Law loves pre-acknowledgement because it tells the subconscious to prepare welcome. Tell money where to sit when it arrives. Assign it before it lands. In imagination and then in action, allocate with joy. This portion circulates to bless. This portion builds reserves named peace. This portion expands channels. This portion celebrates life, not as a stern budget born of fear but as elegant order born of identity. Order speaks, I am not a puddle, I am a river with banks. Rivers with banks move swiftly and safely. Money relaxes around order, relaxed money multiplies. Clean the edge cases where fear still hides, the friend who pays late, the platform that glitches, the headline designed to rattle. You will not lend your focus to the noise. You will do the simple, precise act that preserves order, then you release. If a person is chronically late, you adjust terms, deposit required, clear window of delivery, you speak it calmly. Of course, we honor agreements here. If a platform hiccups, you submit the ticket, keep the picture of paid, and praise the resolution before it lands. Of course, this clears today. Law is law, you remove drama and you keep dignity. Strengthen your words at the contact points. You send a proposal, of course the value is obvious. You open a contract, of course signatures return swiftly and gladly. You tap to transfer, of course this outflow returns multiplied. You pay taxes with praise. Thank you for structure that supports my expansion. Of course my supply exceeds my obligations easily. You are not romanticizing, you are ruling your inner climate. Inner climate sets the outer weather, lift your standard of entry. The self who is paid daily is also paid respectfully. You stop discounting by default. You price in alignment with value. You keep offers simple and strong. When someone asks for more than you offer for less than it's worth, you do not contort. You answer with grace, here is the value, here is the price. Of course those assigned to me recognize me. You bless and release misalignment. Your no is a door closer that keeps the hallway bright for the right footsteps. Make room in your space for what you say you are. Clear a drawer for incoming checks even if most are digital. Place a clean tray where mail lands and is handled once with order and praise. Refresh your wallet, smooth the bills. Remove tired receipts. Tidy your desktop so confirmations sit like jewels, not like clutter. Your environment whispers to your subconscious. Let it whisper, paid daily, calm authority, clean flow. Multiply your sensory anchors until state becomes automatic. The chime is set. The scent is chosen. Add one more, a texture under your hand when you open accounts, a smooth stone or a wooden edge you touch as you say of course. Tie receiving to that tactile cue. The senses are levers. Levers move weight with ease. Use them to move the weight of old habit. Elevate your morning and evening liturgy by 1 degree. Morning. Before you look outward, you write one line in your preview ledger. Today's confirmation arrives by your chosen hour. Of course. Evening, you close the loop with 3 exact praises and 1 clear instruction to your subconscious. Continue overnight. Lay bricks while I sleep. Of course, sleep like a builder whose crews are loyal. Practice silent substitution in public. You stand in a line and hear someone complain about money. You do not correct them. You correct your field, inhale, see your plaque, feel the vibration, whisper within, of course I live in overflow and those near me rise. Your calm alters rooms without performance. People feel it. Some align and prosper with you, some drift. You do not chase, you bless and keep walking. Give with precision and joy. Choose a recurring gift that mirrors your values and schedule it. Call it seed. Each time it leaves, say the instruction with a smile. Return multiplied and bring favor in forms money cannot measure. Open doors, right timing, shielded paths. Then forget it and get back to living. Hovering is fear disguised as control. Praise is trust expressed as ease. Trust is magnetic. Open one more door in your hallway that pays while you rest. Licensing, a template, a tutorial, a print, a track, something that delivers value without your constant body attached. Build it in peace, not in frenzy. Then walk past the door in imagination and hear it hum at midnight. You are asleep. It pays you anyway. You wake and greet it like everything else. Of course, honor delays without adopting them. If a payment slips a day, you do not slip identity. You upgrade care. You send one gracious nudge. You mark a clean follow-up. You seal the outcome. Of course, this resolves today in my favor. Then you give your attention to the next right act. Attention is currency. Spend it on creation, not on surveillance. Surveillance breeds anxiety. Creation breeds receipts. Treat conversations about money as altars, not arguments. When you discuss terms, you speak few words and strong ones. When someone shares their fear, you give them a witness of calm possibility. You don't preach, you embody. You say quietly, money loves order and praise. Watch what happens when you try it for a week, then you return to your assignment. Your results become your testimony. Expand your receiving posture into your body. Shoulders easy when you quote a price. Spine tall when you press send. Jaw soft when you open your accounts. A small smile when you approve an outflow. These micro postures are silent declarations. The body is a pen. It writes on the subconscious all day. Right ease, right sufficiency, right authority. Let time become a servant you enjoy. Maintain your chosen hour, but also welcome the pleasant surprise outside it without addiction. When the afternoon brings a bonus you didn't mark, you say the same seal and you keep moving. Of course, surprise is not exception, it is overflow. Overflow belongs to the one who has already met their daily appointment with supply. Count favor you cannot count in currency and call it part of your wealth, a gifted introduction. A message answered quickly, A door that opens before you push, a problem that dissolves without your hand. Record these as deposits in your ledger of praise. Wealth is not only numbers, wealth is momentum, access, and peace. You are stewarding all three. Train your team if you have one, or your future team if you're building to match your identity. You teach them the rhythm, morning review, noon acknowledgement, evening praise. You teach them the seal, of course. You teach them the posture, calm, precise, generous. The field around you becomes a multiplier. People reflect your law back to you. Finally, speak to the part of you that still wonders if this will last. Smile at it, take its hand. Walk it to the door, show it the plaque, paid daily. Open, let it touch the confirmations, let it hear the chime, let it smell your chosen scent. Whisper, we live here now, of course, then let that part rest. Every time it wakes with old questions, you do not argue, you repeat the tour. The mind learns through tour. You are past hoping, you are past trying, you are practicing law with devotion and precision. Cause is picture, word is seal. Circulation is multiplication, praise is current. Identity is the house where all of it lives. Keep your house in order, keep your doors unlocked to good, keep your schedule set, keep your tongue clean, keep your giving joyful. Keep your no as graceful as your yes. The result is not a mystery, the result is a rhythm. And your rhythm now reads like a ledger stamped the same, day after day, paid, 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 of course. Now we close the circle without closing the flow. Let the field around you be quiet. Put a soft smile on your face, not as performance but as recognition. You know where we are going, through the door with your name on it, into the room where money reports as naturally as breath. Breathe once, breathe twice. On the third breath, whisper your password under your breath, calm and sure, of course. See the morning light come through the same window you know. Your chosen hour approaches like a friend who keeps their word. On the desk, the ledger of praise is open to a fresh page. You touch the paper and feel the light rasp under your fingertips. You have already written your pre-acknowledgement. Today's confirmation arrives by our hour, of course. Your phone rests face down because you are not a chaser. You are a receiver. You are the one life finds because you made yourself easy to find. Walk with me to the door. The plaque still reads paid daily, but notice the gleam is brighter now. Identity polished it through use. Turn the handle. The room breathes with you. On the main table, confirmations are stacked in neat order. Paid, cleared, received. You do not paw through them. You lay a hand on the top page and feel the thud of finality a paid stamp makes in your imagination. That sound is a cue to your nervous system. That sound is safety. Then comes the chime, the one you chose. Soft, familiar, you lift your phone, the first receipt. The amount is exact. Your smile is small and real, of course. Let the picture stretch through the day. Midday comes with movement. You serve, you deliver. You speak few words and strong ones at the exact contact points. Of course this value is obvious. Of course signatures return promptly. Of course my supply precedes every obligation. You circulate with praise as naturally as you inhale. A bill is not a burden, it is a doorway to return. As you send payment, you bless it by name. Return multiplied with friends and favor. Then you forget, because forgetting is trust. If a gray thought knocks, you do not host it. You perform your 3-breath switch. First breath, see the plaque. Second breath, feel the vibration. Third breath, say, of course, and let your shoulders drop. The hall of heavy sentences fades. The bright door opens again. You live in the bright door now. You have burned the map back to the gray. Evening arrives and you count with dignity. You write 3 exact lines in your ledger. You acknowledge one quiet favor that money cannot measure but wealth recognizes. A smooth handshake, a timely reply, a gentle detour that saved an hour. You praise them like you praise deposits, because praise keeps the pipe clean. Then you write the instruction to your subconscious. Continue overnight, lay bricks while I sleep. Of course, you place the ledger down, you breathe the scent you chose, you hear the chime one more time. You go to bed like a builder who trusts their crews. Now extend your view 7 days. See a row of mornings, each with your chosen hour glowing softly. Each day, at least one confirmation arrives, sometimes two, sometimes three. You never spike, you never sag, you recognize, of course. See one day where a larger figure presents itself, watch your body stay steady. The old startle does not belong here, the new recognition does, of course. See one day where a payment tries to linger, you handle it with grace, a clear reminder, a blessed release of tension, a calm decree, of course this resolves today in my favor, then back to life. You are practicing inevitability without strain, extend the view 30 days, the pattern is not lucky, the pattern is law obeying your identity, the hallway of doors hums, sales opens, consulting opens, royalties hum, interest hums. Tips sparkle, affiliate trickles turn into streams, gifts appear from unexpected hands that were always connected by law but finally had a channel to use. Refunds arrive faster, surprises land with a familiar smile. Each door bears the same fingerprint, yours, each door opens to the same seal, of course. Bring your circle of care into the picture, you bless those who bless you, clients by name, vendors by name, platforms by name, your bank by name. Thank you for swift, clean flow, of course order rules here, your blessing is not flattery, it is instruction. Fields respond to steady voices, your voice is steady now. Calm, precise, generous, return to the body. Let posture write your decree, shoulders easy when you quote, spine tall when you press send, jaw soft when you open accounts, smile small when you approve outflows. These micro postures are silent contracts with your future. Every time your hand touches the doorframe in your home, feel the texture and hear the plaque name itself, paid daily. Every time you drink water, say quietly, of course. Every time you step through a doorway, step through the bright door again in imagination. Doors teach the subconscious. Repetition writes inevitability. Now speak your closing affirmations with me slowly, cleanly, like stamps landing on paper. Of course I am paid today, of course I am paid tomorrow, of course I am paid all week. Of course supply precedes demand in my world, of course my work is recognized and rewarded. Of course I circulate with praise and returns multiply. Of course those assigned to me recognize me and arrive with ease. Of course my accounts rise swiftly and steadily. Of course I am the one money loves to circle through. Of course I live in overflow and those near me rise. Law is law, identity is cause, my word is seal. Of course, let the room fall quiet again. See yourself a month from now, reading your ledger of praise. The pages are soft from use. You run your fingers over the entries like someone touching a map they walked. Not luck, law, not noise, rhythm. You close the book, you look at your reflection and you see someone simple, certain, generous. Someone for whom paid daily is not an aspiration but an address. You whisper it once more to mark the end of this practice and the continuation of your life, of course. If you've walked with me through every picture, every seal, every act of circulation and praise, then you already know this. Wealth is not waiting outside you, it is answering to the self you have allowed to stand up inside you. Write in the comments, of course I am paid daily. Because I want to honor those who stayed to the end, who didn't just listen, but let this law rewrite the way you see, speak, give, and receive. The bond we've built across these minutes tells me that your simple act of liking this video is more than support, it is confirmation, it is circulation, a ripple that will carry this teaching to another soul ready as you were to say of course and collect. And if you felt the shift, if something in you settled and said, this is my rhythm now, then subscribe. Not as a casual click, but as a covenant with yourself. A decision to keep training your mind, sealing your word, and walking in millionaire consciousness, day after day, video after video, until paid daily is the only language your life speaks. Your destiny is established, your rhythm is set, of course, and you collect.